Today, I'm going to be interviewing the owner of this 2011 W212 E63 AMG. This is a pre-facelift of the W212. You can tell because of the split in the headlight right here. And one of the last of the true AMG era. We're going to find out all about the owner, why they love this car, and of course, why they drive it. So right here, we have the owner of this car. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Richard. You might know me as the AMG Meister on YouTube, and this is my 2011 E63.
So I gotta ask, why do you drive this car?
I drive it because it's a car that I've always wanted. It's mainly because of that M156 6.3 V8. It's a V8 that AMG kind of developed on their own, and it's, in my opinion, 212 is one of the best ways to have that engine, really, and because it comes with MCT gearbox, it's a little bit more modern. And that's why I drive it.
So a lot of people might see this car in traffic and go, that's just a regular Mercedes, right? Like you see a million of on the road.
Exactly, yeah. Part of the appeal because, you know, the car is kind of under the radar. You know, you don't really, you know, if you see it, especially if it's gray, it kind of like doesn't catch your eye, right? But that's good to have it under the radar if it's like a performance car, right? You know, in Germany, these are taxis, like millions of them everywhere, right? But you know, if you kind of look closely, there is a few like details, you know, the enthusiast would pick out, right? The quad exhausts and the wheels and whatever, right? So
and the front bumper has the two
front
little
bumper,
fins.
yeah. And then like the front fenders are widened on the E-Class, and the first time they did that was on the 212,
which was this generation.
Exactly, yeah.
And they have a pre-facelift and a facelift, right?
That's right, yeah. Pre-facelift is 2010 to 2013. And then the facelift was 14 to 16. Those are at least North America years.
Okay, and this is a pre-facelift, right? Which I mentioned you can tell because the front light has this metal in the middle, the divider, whereas the facelift is all one headlight, right?
Exactly, exactly. And the facelift has like the big star grille instead of like the classic, which I always kind of maybe prefer the classic. You know, I like the Mercedes star, like upright. It's unique, like no cars have hood ornaments anymore. So,
no, and was this the last one to have the hood ornament?
No, no. Another car that I like a lot, the last one was the W212 S-Class. So that would be the last.
And then they just abandoned this completely. Do you know why they got rid of the hood ornaments?
I think it's just that, you know, having the big star in the grille, it's like more like in your face, more flashy, right?
Yeah, I guess it
like
is
the
more
CLS,
flashy.
for example, would have that instead of this. So, you know, E-Class was always a bit more like subtle, right? Kind of like Businessman's Express, right? I do kind of like how it's more restrained.
And you've got the big, massive brakes up here in the front. That's kind of the other way you can tell a real AMG from a E350.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I mean, the one option this car like doesn't have is the carbon ceramic brakes. So, you know, the wheels have a bit of space left for them, I guess. But the standard brakes are fine.
Yeah. I mean, this car, how much horsepower does it make in its stock form?
This car is 518 horsepower, I think 465 foot-pounds.
That's
something
quite
like
a
that.
bit.
It's not bad, like for naturally aspirated, right? And that's due to the, you know, it's still quite a big engine, and you know, it's not as torquey as the bi-turbo or the V8 compressors that came before it, right? But it's a different character. It's more power at the top of the power band, right?
Yeah. And then on the back, it just simply says E63 and AMG. There's no fancy stickers, there's no big S's, there's no extra stuff. It's just that.
Yeah, they didn't. It would be just one model. There was no S at this time yet, or anything like that. Yeah.
And then you've just got the subtle tips, which nowadays, when they put tips on a car, it's a lot more obvious. And on the interior, are there any differences between the AMG and the non-AMG?
Yeah, I think actually probably in the interior is a lot more difference than the exterior, or at least somewhat more so. For example, like the seats are, you know, much better in the AMG in terms of like the Napa leather and just the layout of the dashboard center console. I think it's a lot nicer. I know there's like this huge debate between like Mercedes fans, like, oh, you know, 211, the previous one to this is better, or whatever. But I really like the 212. I like the interior and so on, and I like the design, and you know, it's those AMG tweaks that they do, you know, that it really shows like it is top of the line. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
E550 or an E350 is a much cheaper car, so you would compromise on, you know, an E350 just basic, doesn't even have leather seats, it has like a fake thing, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So, you know, it's a big difference between how they spec the different models, right?
Yeah, I think that some of the magic in the Mercedes AMG back then was that it was a very different car for the experience of the owner, but on the outside, it looked the same to most people, which nowadays is not as popular as it was
Yeah,
then.
I mean, I still think that they've kept like, you know, if you look at the new C63, for example, they've kept like a pretty like subtle exterior. Like it's still very under the radar as well. But it was like this time, yeah, you know, like the car is not super showy, but it's still pretty loud. It drives well, you know, that's what you want.
So being that this car was not a very in-your-face car, what made you, you know, want one?
I always wanted, like, if you go back to like my old like YouTube like to videos history, it's like a video of this car like posted by like Auto Top NL or something, and it's just showing the exhaust and just the car accelerating and things like that. I'm like, wow, that sounds so good. And you know, I gotta have one of those one day. You know, it's so much louder than like an E55 or something. And you know, it's got the much faster transmission. So you know, that's what I always kind of lusted after, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And you finally got one now.
Finally got one, and it was like the spec that I wanted. Like this is the, you know, the palladium silver with the black leather is exactly like the New York Auto Show like press car kind of like original spec. So I think it makes the car look a little bit fresher. Yeah.
So when you bought this car, was this kind of be it end all dream car for AMG, or do you want more?
Oh, I think you always want more, you know. But I think this car has actually like a very good like happy medium, because for me, like, you know, if you bought like say an SLS or a C63 Black Series, because they're so collectible cars, you're kind of like scared. Oh, you know, like what if I damage it, or what if somebody damages it, or whatever. But because this is not like that valuable of a car, you know, it's kind of like, you know, it's okay. It's okay if something happens, you know, like or whatever like that. You know, you don't worry about it as much as you would. I mean, I still take like really good care of it, but you know, it's kind of at that reasonable price range, you know.
Yeah. Well, speaking of price range, how much do these go for nowadays?
It really depends, you know. Like I'm not like you know, super like bragging or whatever, but I think this is a really like nice example. It's all like original paint and things like that. It's like 53,000 miles, I think, 93,000 kilometers. And a car like this, I think, is, you know, it's probably like 30, 35 Canadian. So, you know, say upper 20, mid 20s, upper 20s US.
Yeah.
For a nice one. But, you know, you can buy like worst one in the world for like 10 grand or whatever, US. But I wouldn't recommend that, you know what I mean? Because it still was an expensive car new, and things do go break, you know. So it's better to spend the money up front and, you know, get a good one. It's just what I always say.
Yeah. Well, speaking of this car, can we get a start up and go for a ride?
Yeah, absolutely.
Dang, that's loud. Well, let's
go.
Let's get out of here.
Exactly. Yeah.
That is quite loud, actually. I did not expect it to be that loud. That's stock?
That's stock, yeah.
Wow.
Completely stock. And you know, like, the thing I like about the car is that it's, you know, if you rev it up and you go like in a tunnel or whatever, it sounds good. But if you just kind of like keep the revs low and drive normally, it's not that loud.
Yeah. It's a really, really nice sound too. I love that V8.
No, 100%. I love it too. And, you know, they spend a lot of time tuning the exhaust. And, you know, every one of these cars has their unique tone. You know, if you hear a C63 or you hear one of these, or you hear an SLS, they each have their own, like, they each have their own unique tone, which I do like. I think it's really cool.
Yeah.
And it was at a time, a different time. Like, you know, they had, like, I have the magazine from, like, 2011, AMG magazine. And they're interviewing, like, their guy who does the exhaust, like, tuning literally the sound. And I don't, like, maybe they still have that guy, I don't know. But, you know, they spent the time on each of these different cars to get, like, a real different tone. And I do really appreciate that. You know, that's something that's not around anymore, I guess. You know, with the
Yeah.
4-cylinder engines.
Well, speaking of that, me and you are both big Mercedes fans. You run a channel where you talk about Mercedes a lot.
Exactly, yeah.
I have the 190, I have a G-Wagon, I actually just bought a C300 for a daily in the winter, 2008 W204. But
Yeah.
my question is, what do you think of the modern AMG and Mercedes era that we're in now?
I mean, I've tested a few on my own channel, and you know, the interiors are super flashy. The technology is amazing, you know. But I'm not necessarily a huge fan, like, of how some of the cars drive. They're really heavy now, like the E53, the new one. And you know, we're waiting on an E63, so kind of we'll have to see if that makes sense, you know. I hope things will turn around a bit, because I know they've gotten so much kind of flack for what they've done, really. Like the C63 and what it's supposed to be the most hated car of like 2024, let's say. So
Yeah.
you know, yeah, I hope things like work out, because I do like the brand. And they still make like some nice cars. GT63 they still sell, the 4-door. That's a nice car. I really like it. So you
Yeah.
know, it's not like they don't know what they're doing. It's just I think they made a few little mistakes here and there, and
Yeah.
you know, they could easily come back, you know.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that is quick. The performance is definitely there. I did not expect that. That's a treat to ride in a car like this. Thank you so much for taking care of it and preserving it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's been an honor to get to interview you. I've been a fan of yours for a while now. He makes some amazing Mercedes content on his channel. Thanks for watching, guys. Thank you for doing this interview.
Yeah, no problem.
I
Thanks.
appreciate it.
Good to meet you, and you know, it's good to see another kind of Mercedes fan out there, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, absolutely.
Well, go subscribe, AMG Meister. I'll put the link in the description down below. And in the meantime, message me if you have a cool car and you want to be in a YI drive. I'll see you in the next video. Never ever quit your dreams. God loves you.
You feel my heart.